Good afternoon. How you doing? This is Dennis Ayers once again with Health and Habits, and we are. This is our first week of the show, and we have a wonderful show today. And if you are out listening, you have your pen and pencils, there's going to be some information that hopefully you'll be able to call in on. And the number we want you to call in on is 1-800-492-5186. That is 1-800-492-5186. You can view us on Roku TV, YouTube, Facebook, but you can also view us on WeBelieveDigital.com. And just take a look at this. If you are looking at us on YouTube, subscribe so you can receive those notifications. If you're on Facebook, like and share. This week we have been talking simply about health care and uninsured health care. Among Mondays was about uninsured health care here in Mississippi. Yesterday was on health on recidivism as how it relates to health care. And that's one of those things that no one really thinks about. But we're going to give you a little bit clarity, and we're going to clarify some things concerning that. One thing we do know is unaddressed health care plays a part in the increased rate of recidivism, along with homelessness, along with drug addiction, along with mental health, and a host of other issues. And what we're doing and what we're seeing is a lot of these men and women that are being released, because we know that at least 85% of anyone that goes into the prison system will be getting out. But the issue is, are they prepared to re-enter society and become a productive member of society? And there are some things that should be in place. Yesterday we also talked about those chronic illnesses and infections that happen in prison by law. The government or the state has to take care of you, take care of your health care needs. But once you leave, then that is a total different story. You're on your own. You are now responsible for finding those resources to continue to treat those healthcare issues, those mental health issues, even substance abuse. If you abused alcohol and drugs in prison, chances are extremely high that you're going to do the same thing outside of prison. And those are issues that need to be addressed to reduce the rate of recidivism. And all that has that healthcare component that we're talking about. My name is Dennis Ayers, and I am the owner of Ayers Insurance Group in Clinton, Mississippi. I am also have a radio talk show called Health and Habits. It's aired every Thursday evening from 5:30 to 6 on 90.1 WMPR. You can watch us here at WeBelieveDigital.com every Monday through Thursday from 3 to 3:30. Although today we have such a powerful message, we're going to extend that, and we'll be on an entire hour. Okay, you can reach us at 601-492-5186. We want you to join in on this conversation because we need to hear from you. We do not have all the answers here. But collectively, we can come up with a solution. So we need to hear from you. Write this number down, 1-800-492-5186. That's 1-800-492-5186. 5186. Okay, our guest today is a gentleman by the name of Tony Parker. He has an interesting story. He is a local pastor here in Clinton, Mississippi, and he can. When we were talking yesterday, he came to my heart because we were talking about returning citizens re-entering society and possibly the workforce. But there are issues, and we're going to just listen closely as to what this gentleman has to say. How you doing, Pastor Parker?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much, Brother Ayers. It's wonderful to be here and be a part of this listening audience here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we were talking earlier, and this is an ongoing conversation we probably have been having for the last 2 weeks. And we were talking about, and I asked that question of you, what happens when someone is released from prison and they have health issues, a chronic health issue or something like that. Explain to us what happened in your case.
Well, I want to say, first of all, no one enters prison and come out the same. You're either going to be a bitter person or a better person. I was released while incarcerated. I developed a prostate problem, and I was released from prison without any medication, without any guidance to go and receive health care for that problem. And now at age 56, I still suffer as a result, because that 2-year period that I did not get health care, it really hurt me. And there are many men that are being released, and women, from prison without medicines or the normal things that help them survive.
Okay. Well, we have, what we have is we have a combination of things. We have an aging prison population. Mm-hmm. As we talked, the property crime, the average prison time for property crime or non-violent crime is anywhere from 5 to about 7 years. Violent crimes, or of course you're in jail a little longer if you are sentenced to life without a possibility of parole. That's without saying. But like I said, most people are going to, 85% of those who have been incarcerated will be released at some point. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because we know, because of research, we know that over 67% of anyone getting out of prison within 3 years will be rearrested. Within 5, that goes up to over 76%. Here's what we need to know, because you have been released. Tell us a little bit about what happened, why you were released, and what did you do to prepare yourself for that release?
One thing I would like to say, if you're listening to this broadcast and you are incarcerated, or your family member is incarcerated, when incarcerated, you must do everything you can to take advantage of the educational opportunities. That's what I did. You must read every piece of literature you can get, welding classes, whatever they're offering there, take it. It may seem unimportant now because you're incarcerated, or your family member may think, well, that's not going to do me any good once I'm released. But I beg to differ. Those skills can help you tremendously once you're released from prison. During my time of incarceration, I ended up earning an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, along with the master's degree, all while still working a full-time job inside of the prison. But I took advantage of every educational opportunity, and the staff there was able to see, hey, this guy is serious. So there are some opportunities that are afforded to you if you really want to take advantage of it. Now, there's that crew inside the prison that won't allow you to go beyond their standards. They want you to gamble. They want you to be involved in illegal activities inside of the prison. That crew is there. But if you're real serious about bettering yourself, and learning from your mistake, whether you're innocent or guilty, take advantage of the opportunities that's presented to you. Get beyond that peer pressure of those guys that want to keep you coming back. That's what I did, Brother Ayers. I stayed in the school. Everything I could get, I absorbed it. Whether I agreed with it or not, I absorbed it.
Yet, at first, when you first got out, although you did what you needed to do to get out, and you took advantage of it, it was still not an easy road.
No. Actually, it was a very challenging road because being released from incarceration with a mark as a felon on you, the first job I applied for, I still remember the grocery store manager taking my application. When he looked at the box where I had checked as a felon, he threw the application on the table and said, okay, well, we'll be in contact with you. We'll call you in 30 days. Needless to say, before I walked out the door, they had already put the application in the garbage can.
Okay.
That was one of the challenges of employment. So I knew I had to do something, and it wasn't going to be easy. Those degrees did me no good inside of the prison, but when I got out, the challenge was even greater to use them. You're a convicted felon with a degree, don't count.
Okay.
So you got to find something to do legal. I say if you work hard inside the prison system for $10 a week or $10 a month, then you can come out and work just as hard and make at least more than $10. You can make it if you're really determined to overcome your obstacles.
Y'all, we need you to join in this conversation. You can call us at 601-492-5186. That is 601-492-5186. What we're doing is we're tying in the coalition of recidivism, how it relates to health care. And one thing we do know, get quality health care once released, it takes that, you have to have that persistent attitude of you need that help. Where were you able to eventually find the help that you needed?
I eventually found the Medicare help I needed, the medical help I needed, by applying for Medicaid some time ago, and it was very helpful at that time, and I was very appreciative of it, because if not, I probably would have died from prostate cancer or something. But the alarming thing is people are released from prison every day with no idea of where to go to receive medical help. And some of those conditions that you receive in prison, and let me give a shout out to all the medical providers inside the prisons. They do the best they can with what they have. Their hands are tied in many cases, and there are people dying unnecessarily in every system. And I want to shout out to those guys. Keep doing all you can do to help the inmates as much as you can. But when you're released from prison, guys, ladies, do everything you can to run to some health care. You got to try to find it. You got to knock on doors. You got to go down to the hospital, you got to go somewhere. If all fail, go to the emergency room and they'll help you some.
And we just want to, we're just highlighting this. If there's someone out there and this is what you're dealing with, you should really give us a call here at the radio station, 800-492-5186. That's 1-800-492-5186. Or you can always reach me through my company website, and that's DennisAyers.org. That is DennisAyers.org. Just drop me a message in. I'll get the notification and I will reach out to you. Or you can call me on my company cell phone at 601-209-9853. That's 601-209-9853. Or you can just simply send me a text. We don't want this thing to be unaddressed. Right. Because after you hear what we provide for you, then you can no longer say, I didn't know. or I'm not the only one that's going through this. I don't know everybody, but I do have enough in me to go out and find the answer to the question. So give us a call. So how is life for you today, Pastor?
I will say good. Everything that was meant for my bad was turned around and is working for my good. That includes being released from prison, starting employment, starting nonprofit organization, now pastoring a church. And I would say that if you haven't gone through any trials and issues of life, especially with your health, keep living. But God is able to turn things around for you if you will just believe. But you got to do your part. And whether your family member is incarcerated or not, maybe they need help, they're already out. Well, we're here to help you. Let us know and we'll do everything we can to help you with that family member, because health care coverage is very important. For me, it's going well now, and I'm going to believe it's going to go well tomorrow as well. But let me help you in the process so yours will go well.
Okay. Well, and we have, we're going to take a break in about 4.5 minutes. When we come back, we're going to have Pastor Tony share his story, because he had never been in trouble before prior to being convicted of a felony that sent him to prison for 27 years. And that is, he's also an accomplished author, and he had wrote an interesting book called Lynched by the Law, putting good men behind bars. That title is Lynched by the Law, putting good men behind bars. And y'all, this is, session or this broadcast will be archived. You can go to WeBelieveDigital.com and pull it up. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Facebook, We Believe Facebook, or you can go to YouTube or Roku TV. But this is something that you can refer back to. Give us a call at 1-800-492-5186. We're going to talk about your book, Lynched by the Law, and what prompted you to write this book. But first, we're going to address some issues that still dealing that a lot of people being released from prison are still confronted with. You mentioned earlier that no one comes out of prison the same. They're affected some way.
Yes.
Mental health is a growing issue. And mental health, when they get out of prison or they're in prison, a lot of people treat their mental health with alcohol and or drugs. And they do not go and seek that proper help. Although mental health may not have been something that you dealt with, how did it change you?
Well, prison changed me tremendously. Number one, I was not guilty of the drug crime they charged me with. And number two, I was determined to survive that prison. I could have been bitter because the judge, the prosecutor, everybody was non-African American. And I could have joined the groups inside of the prison that promote racism like that. Instead, I remained neutral and began to just work on myself. You cannot go in prison one way and then think you can come out the same way. You're either going to be bitter, because you can easily become bitter. Blame everybody for everything. The world owe you. You can be bitter about it, or you can be better. Better means I accept where I am, and I'm going to do everything I can to get out of here. But while I'm here, I'm going to make my time useful in a very positive sense. That option is always available to inmates, both male and female. And I encourage you to encourage your family member, if they're incarcerated, push them to betterness. betterness. And if you're listening to this broadcast and you are incarcerated, I challenge you, be better than your environment. Be better than that social group around you that's trying to keep you coming back into the prison system with their ill behavior.
Okay. All right. Well, you mentioned that you took some of those things that you did in prison as far as buffing floors and stuff like that, and how you applied yourself to that outside of prison. And we're going to talk about that when we have our after we get back from our break. Y'all give us a call if you want to join in on this conversation at 1-800-492-5186. You can go to Facebook, you can go to YouTube, or you can go to WeBelieveDigital.com. But give us a call. Let's join in on this conversation, because this is a powerful message that we have today. We'll be right back. Thank you.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippiLink.com and click on Home Delivery.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Okay, we are back, and we want to thank you for joining us. Today we have an interesting show where we're segueing. This week has been about recidivism and healthcare, how inadequate healthcare is one of the factors of an increased higher rate of recidivism here, not only in Mississippi, but this is a nationwide issue that needs to be dealt with. Our guest today is Tony Parker, who is the pastor over at New Seasons Church over in Clinton, Mississippi, at 610 Clinton, Mississippi, who has also been returned to society after being 18 years in prison. But Pastor Tony was not always and has never been in trouble prior to this incident, and this incident was not of his own making. We'll have him share with us what he did, and most of you will be shocked at what he did for a living prior to his brush with the justice system. Go ahead, Pastor.
Well, I thank you so much, and let me try to start it this way. In 1988, I was the State Trooper of the Year, the first African American to become State Trooper of the Year. A few years later, I transferred and went back to my hometown, started working narcotics for 6 months. During the 6-month period that I was there, that's when the government started an investigation, or had already started, and somehow I ended up being the pawn guy. I've never taken drugs from anyone, given drug information, or sold drugs, anything like that I was charged with in the indictment. But I worked with some guys, and they were there way before me, 6 months there, back at home, and all of a sudden I was charged in a federal grand jury indictment ultimately convicted and sentenced to 27 years and 6 months, 18 years plus, which I served for a crime I did not commit. I did not commit it. I only went back home to help, because everybody, when you're successful in what you do, you want to go back home. You kind of want to go shine a little bit, you know. Well, I went back home to shine, at least that's what I thought, and end up being thrown to the wolves for some artificial charges. Everybody in prison is not guilty. I learned it the hard way. And the hard part for me was I was a law enforcement officer. I only saw one side of the system. I never did think the other side existed. The side where the innocent is often accused and sometimes found guilty and sent to prison. I figured, well, if I arrested you, you did it, and I'm taking you to jail. That was for me. But that's not the case for everyone else. There are some people that are falsely accused, that are indicted, sent to prison, and served your time, as I did. What kept me going was when that judge sentenced me. I won't forget this here. That judge told me, he said, "May God go with you." You just gave me 27 years and 6 months, and you're telling me, may God go with me. I'm saying, yeah, I hope he will go with me. But it was a turnaround for me at that point. I was determined. I'm coming back. This is not over. And even today, some 15 years later, it's still not over. I'm still living, and living good now, because everything that was meant for my bad is now working for my good. Went back home to work with a sheriff's department that cost me my life almost for a crime I didn't commit. And because I was the only African American there doing this, I guess it was easy to put me out there. But the fact of the matter is the criminal justice system taught me a lesson. We always think that Lady Justice, her eyes are closed and she's blind. She don't really see your race. I come to tell you that Lady Justice is, she's peeping through her fingers. She's looking, she knows exactly who you are when you come through. And there's one system for you, and there's one system for others. It is my prayer today that you don't even get involved in anything, and you don't have to do anything to be a victim. You can just simply be you walking down the street, and it can happen. But I want to encourage you today and let you know, no matter what happens to you in life, as long as you have breath in your body, you have the ability to overcome it. Even if it means staying in prison the rest of your life, you can overcome. And I want to encourage you, because that's what happened to me. And what happened to me still happens to millions of other men and women every day in America. But many don't survive their prison experience. I was fortunate. God bless me. I was determined. Sometimes that incarceration breaks you, breaks your mind, breaks your spirit. You give up and you give in to the system, and then you become the statistic that they often advertise. You'll be back. You'll be back. Well, you don't have to go back. You can work hard and stay free and live and take care of your family. But you have to overcome the challenges first. And that biggest challenge is going to be in your mind, telling you can't do it. I come to tell you, if I can go from growing up in the projects to becoming a police officer, to going to prison, and now being a pastor, you can too. You can do it. It just takes some real work and determination.
Yeah, and you had mentioned the fact that you grew up in the projects, and like so many young men, were you lack of a father figure in the home?
Yes, sir. There was. I think the last time I saw my father, I was 3 years old. I'm 56 now. Mm-hmm. There was no father in the home. My mom was the father. Yeah. My mom taught me things that my dad should have been teaching me. You know, the birds and the bees, mm-hmm. that old conversation. Mm-hmm. That was my mom to give me that, you know. Don't do girls this way. That was my mom teaching me that. Yeah.
And you know, I think our stories are similar there, because my mom, was taught me,
okay,
you know, how you should treat your dates. Mm-hmm. And to this day, anyone that knows me knows that I cherish my wife. Amen. And I think that all that is a result of being trained by my mother. Women do wonderful jobs. And I don't dispel, and we're not knocking on the job that mothers do. They do the best with what they have while they have it. But there is a part that men should play in the lives of their children. And that in itself is a huge part of what we see in our community. If the father is in prison, where's the relationship? Your relationship, even if you talk to your child by phone, or if you see them once a month or whatever that is, still that relationship has been splintered at some point. So there has to be that void that has to be filled. And a lot of times that void is filled by drugs. It could be filled by alcohol. It could be filled, in the case of my son, and people don't know the backstory to my life, but for about 5 years, I was not in my son's life. Michael's gone home to be with the Lord. He passed in 2015 from advanced colon cancer. But what I found is when the day that they buried him, they gave me a book of his poems that he was writing. Just this year, I started to read those poems, and it's been almost going on 7 years.
Wow.
And they made my eyes sweat because in his writing, I could see that the anger that popped up. I know when I knew my father. I seen him every day almost. I seen him drunk. So although he was in my life, although he was in the home until I was 14, about 13 years old, he was not very active in raising me. So these are some of the things that we're dealing with now, because now we're working on our second generation of young men that are growing up fatherless. How are you going to shoot somebody 14 times and not be angry? That is a cry saying that I am enraged. Where does that come from? The seeds are planted, so yeah, seeds of the Father do matter. Words mean something. Yes. That old adage of sticks and stones may break my bones, or words may never hurt me. That is a lie.
Yes.
Well, sticks and stone part is right, but words can kill you.
Yes.
And we're seeing that over and over again. So we need y'all to join in on this conversation at 601-492-5186. That is 1-800-492-5186. You can look at us and pull this back up. We're on Roku TV, on YouTube. When you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe. That way you'll get all the notifications when Health and Habits come back up. Or you can archive the episodes and look at it anytime you want. Hit that like notification and share this message on Facebook. If you need to reach out to us and we're not here, you can reach out to me at my Facebook, my Facebook page, Dennis Ayers, Senior Healthcare Advisor, or you can reach me at my company website, dennisayers.org, and I am the proud owner of Ayers Insurance Group, located in Clinton, Mississippi. So at this point, let me ask you something, because this is important. You got out early.
Yes, sir.
After 18 years, they let you go.
Yes, sir.
What prompted that?
They actually had the judge that sentenced me wrote a letter to the U.S. attorney saying that he wanted a new sentencing guideline to apply to me, and otherwise it probably wouldn't have applied. And they agreed, and that's how I was released from prison. That same judge wrote that letter. I think I still have a copy. It might be in the book, but I definitely very thankful for that, and that gave me an opportunity. And listen, the release was like Thursday. I'm on the rec yard, enjoying being in prison, and Friday, get out. It was a Friday. It was raining, and all I could carry was my religious and legal material.
You didn't have any medication?
No.
Were you being treated with medication?
I was being treated for enlarged prostate. I was kicked out of that prison without any medication.
Wow.
Given $25, put on a prison van, taken to the Greyhound bus station, and said, okay, you're gone. Remember now, when I went to prison, McDonald's was serving, you go to the little dispenser to fill your drink. Well, no, I think it was given behind the counter.
It was given behind
the counter. Well, now I'm out with $25. First thing I wanted some fries. I go to McDonald's counter and I give the guy, I want some fries, and he said, okay, give me your money. And then the guy took a cup and just placed it on the counter. I'm just getting out of prison. So I'm thinking, you trying to be funny and disrespect me and just giving me an empty cup. So with people behind me in the line, I say, hey, where's the drink? You gave me the empty cup. And everybody backed up behind me, and the guy looked at me. He said, well, the dispenser's over there. See, in my mind, you're going to give me the drink from behind the counter.
Right.
Well, times have changed. Now the cup is here, and you got to go over there to get your drink, and it really threw me off.
So this is, when you say you are changed, it's the thousand little changes that really put those detours in your life.
Yes.
To build back outside of prison.
That's correct.
So not only were you dealing with your health care issue, but there was no pre acclimation, no opportunity to get reacclimated into society. You were just thrown out there. That brings up an interesting story. I had an uncle. He's dead, and he's gone home to be with the Lord now, but he was a Vietnam veteran. And I seen that happen. He wouldn't, we were kids in California, but I seen that happen when he would get, when he got back. He got back like that Wednesday. Well, that week before, he was on one of those special units that I think they call it repatriation. But what I found out later is he did some serious stuff. But a week and a half later, he was back in L.A. And one thing I'll never forget, the police patrol in helicopters. And when he heard that helicopter, he would go to the corner and squat down, waiting for the helicopter to land. And, he developed some pretty serious mental issues as a result of that. It was supposed to have been treated, but over the years, he progressively got worse. And, those are some of the things that, when we say mental health, we're talking about health disparities in general, because people are dying without the treatment that they need. So literally, when you left prison, you were given an additional death sentence, unless you figured out a way to live.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Unless you figure out a way to live. Yes.
Yeah. Y'all give us a call at 800-492-5186. And that is 1-800 492-5186. You can view us on Roku TV, YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And then that way you'll get all the notifications when Health and Habit podcast will come back on. Hit the like button on Facebook and share. We'll be back. We're down to the last segment of the show. But give us a call, and we're going to talk about Pastor Tony's book when we get back. And we'll be right back.
Something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at webelieve.global.
The Mississippi Link is an African American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, Keepers of the Knowledge for People Who Speak the Truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Okay. Once again, my name is Dennis Ayers, and we are down to our final 10 minutes of this segment, and we're talking to Pastor Tony Parker, the pastor over at New Seasons Church of God in Christ over in Clinton, Mississippi. Pastor Tony is also an accomplished author. And he has a wonderful book out, and the name of that book is Lynched by the Law, Putting Good Men Behind Bars. And tell us a little bit what inspired you to write this book, why you wanted to write it, and what has it done since you have written it? Because I know there's certain freedom.
Yes, sir.
In putting pen to pencil. Putting pen to paper.
Yeah. Well, writing the book, the title, notice, Lynched by the Law, I wanted to share this story, my story, with the world, that the law is not always what you think it is. I think in this case, the law actually lynched me because of how they went about doing everything. But I grabbed that title because I figured it would really minister to the people out there that are experiencing the criminal justice system. In this book, I tell my story of what happened to me. The book is done by investigative journalist Patty Jo Savelle, and she was able to retrieve legal documents that I could never get my hands on, but she was able to get it. I would like to think it was because she was more professional, not because she was a non-African American, but she definitely did a great job on it. Lynched by the Law tells my story, and it tells the story of thousands of others in which the law have been used illegally to lynch men and women, not with the rope and hanging from a tree, but throwing them inside of the prison systems throughout this country. This book, I think, not only shares my story and all the other stories, but it gives some practical directions and experiences, how you can help overcome the challenges that you may face. Because at the end of the day, I've gone from the projects to the police officer to the prisoner, now to the pastor. And it's books like this that help minister to the lead. Now, listen, everybody involved in the book, everyone that was a part of this conspiracy against me are no longer on the earth. They're no longer here. Now, all of them went to see the Lord before I was released from prison. So I believe if I probably had gotten out and they would have still been alive, no doubt I wouldn't be here talking to you today. It would be me going to the Lord. But that's how I feel. But everybody's dead. They're gone. And at the last one's death, I was miraculously released from prison because the plan was to stay in prison until 2015, I think is what the government calculated. And then God said something totally different.
So let's get a clear perspective. This was a federal crime that they accused you of. Am I correct?
You're correct. It was a federal crime.
So there was no early release or parole or probation
No, sir.
in store for you.
No, sir. 85% of your time you have to do in the federal system. There's no probation or parole. You do the time. If they give you life in the federal system, it means just that. There's no life with probation or parole. Life in the federal system is life. And there are a lot of lifers inside the system for minor drug crimes. And I believe the previous two administrations did all they could to try to bring about some justice for individuals. Attorney General, but Eric Holder did a great job.
Okay. Well, y'all give us a call. We're down to about the last 6.5 minutes. You can reach us at 800-492-5186. That is 800-492-5186. You can view this message at any time on Roku TV, YouTube. But when you see this episode on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll receive the notifications for Health and Habits. And you can check us out at Facebook. WeBelieveDigital.com is our platform. You can go there, or you can view us at We Believe Facebook. So. Go ahead.
Well, if they want to purchase a copy of the book, you can get a copy of the book at AmazonBooks.com. AmazonBooks.com. And again, if you're in the Clinton area, I'm the pastor at New Season Church of Christ Holiness USA here in Clinton, 610 Spring Ridge Road. And we're having service every Sunday at 10 a.m. and look forward to seeing you there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What if someone want to call ahead? Could the church, is there a church phone number?
Yeah, you can call at 318-493-0025. That's area code 318-493-0025. Or you can go to AmazonBooks.com and make sure you purchase a copy of the book.
Okay, and what that does, it simply helps to continue the financial component of spreading this message. This is not the last that you will hear from Pastor Tony, because he has such a powerful message. I'm sure that he's going to show up somewhere, and we should perk our ears up, because this issue of incarceration, the issue of returning to society is a huge issue, and everyone's talking about it. But what no one's talking about is what happens after the release. What happens when you have those chronic conditions or those mental conditions? What happens if you have those substance abuse issues? Those things need to be talked about. They need to be addressed. We touched on it yesterday concerning a program that they had out in California with promising results. But that was a research study in California that has not resonated in other areas of the United States. But if we don't do something, if we don't start a dialogue concerning this, then we're going to go in the hole. Yesterday we read that healthcare as a whole, here in the United States, we spent over $90 billion just for healthcare. That component. Now, what happens if you have no healthcare and you have a chronic condition? If you had to pay for your medicine out of your own pocket and receive the treatment that you receive now, that's virtually a death sentence.
Yes.
So we can do better. We are the richest nation on the planet. I've been told numerous of times that the finances or the buying power in the African American community is greater than most nations. Mm-hmm. And yet we have very little to show for it.
Yes.
If you are incarcerated, take advantage of it. Turn it around for your good.
That's right.
Study, prepare to get when you prepare yourself when you get out, that you will have something. There are different trades you can pick up in prison.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, electrical wiring, plumbing, brick masonry, mechanical abilities, even something simple as buffing the floors down the hallway can turn into a career once you're out of prison, because hospitals still hire guys, especially ex-offenders, to do just that, keep the floors clean.
Wow, this has been a powerful message. For those that are listening, if you want to know more, go to WeBelieveDigital.com. Go to YouTube. Press like at Facebook. Press the subscribe button in YouTube. Get those notifications. Okay, we're going to have more on this. We'll be on again tomorrow. I don't know exactly how we're going to end this, but we have to do better, and we can do better. We are the most powerful nation on the face of the earth, and I honestly and firmly believe that. But as born-again believers, we're even stronger than that.
Amen.
We just simply have to come together on one accord and believe that we can do it and do it. So, one of the things that we are doing on July 24th at 328 Bowling Street in Jackson, Mississippi, that's in West Jackson, is we're going to be offering health screenings with Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health Center. Until tomorrow, we will see you later, and God bless each and every one of you. And remember what I always say, if you want to have a healthier outcome, then change those habits. Thank you, and God bless you.
Advertise on WeBelieve.Global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.Global or call 800-492-5188.